Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Tiffany, and I love AVA Live Radio.
This is Brian J. Klein, and I love AVA Live Music.
Hey, this is Rob Hill from Canada, and I absolutely love AVA Live Radio.
Hi, this is Tara Everly of Iridescence, and I love AVA Live Radio.
Hey guys, this is Jacqueline Jax, and I love AVA Live Radio.
This is Lainey Nash, and I love AVA Live Radio.
This is Chris Bishop, and I love AVA Live Radio.
Hi, this is Naomi Thumb, and I love AVA Live Radio.
Hi, we're Orange Avenue,
and we love AVA Live Radio.
Welcome everyone to AVA Live Radio. We are live and so excited that you are here with us. As you can tell, we got the Twitter up and open, and we're already seeing some great tweets from you guys. Thank you so much for being part of this AVA Live Radio family. You guys are amazing with the tweets. You know, we recently got this cool little Twitter app, and the funny thing is, every time you tweet us or you share or you tweet about us, it notifies us. So you hear this little bird going off right now? This is you guys reacting to our show, and we are so excited to have you part of our Twitter sphere, of our Facebook page, of all of our pages. So much appreciation to all of you. It's really a blessing to have you guys here and have you be such active members of the AVA Live Radio community. We work really, really hard, and we've got such a great team of musicians that are working behind the scenes on all of these artists and helping them to reach their goal and strive to be that much better and build those great fan bases. That's what's really, really important today, because not only are they making great music, but, you know, it's hard to stand out in a crowd, and we want to make sure that they get the right exposure, that we create of a situation and a platform where everyone who really deserves it can get noticed, can find new music fans, and get hooked up with industry opportunities. So we make it our daily grind to not only do that for our indie artists, but also to bring on board other industry people, other stations, other magazines, other people looking for indie music, so that you guys get every opportunity offered to you that you could possibly get over the course of the time that you're with us. It doesn't just happen in the one show, too. It goes on. It really does. These shows get replayed, as you guys know. Those of you listening to the live feed, many of you have downloaded these shows over 6 years and re-listened to them and just really enjoyed the inspiration that comes out of them and the knowledge that you get about the music industry. So much thanks to all of you. So thank you so much to all of the wonderful artists that are part of our community. We look forward to working with you guys every single time, and we're so happy to see you guys come back often. That's really cool, because we like to keep tabs on you and see what's going on with your music stories. So on the featured today, we've got episode number 392. It is Atomic Picnic Project that's going to kick off our show, followed by Paul Kirkpatrick, who has a very unusual story about music and the way he produces, and followed by Storyteller, who has just got an amazing sound. 3 top artists that I'm so excited to bring to you guys. I can't wait to tell their story and hear from them in person. First, we're going to start with the very first song. This is Atomic Picnic Project with No Matter, and this episode is sponsored by American Pride magazine, so you'll see stories about these artists up on the magazine very, very soon. I'll be right back, guys, with the first interview.
Like the playground I was bred. I remember all the lights
Pretty cool track, No Matter by Atomic Picnic Project. This artist is actually trying to connect with us from Augsburg, Germany, so he is obviously having some issues with the connection. So hopefully he will be able to get in here. But until then, I am going to give you a little rundown on what's going on with this song and the project. He said, no matter, the story is about stamina. What they say is, nothing brings you down in the song. And I know, he says, I know it's okay. When you put your mind to it, there is no obstacle one cannot overcome. And I truly am on board with that. I truly believe in that. He said when he joined forces with Amanda Deek and they agreed to write together and produce together, he said, I was so happy that I wrote the song for her, and her beautiful voice really lit it up. She's got an ABBA sound. That's what I keep thinking, right? Did you hear that in that music? I really did. And he talked about what the expression of the lyrics and how she was able to reflect the story with her own music and her own sound in the vocal. That was pretty interesting. Let me see if I can get him in. Welcome to AVA Live Radio. Who do I have here?
This is Helmuth. I'm trying through the internet, but apparently it didn't work for me, so I'm on the phone now.
Well, I am so glad you're here. Welcome. Thanks for making it in.
Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good. Very, very good. So you're all the way in Germany right now?
Yes, I am.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm glad you got to connect for sure, because that can be a little tricky sometimes.
Yeah, it is. I tried my best, but hey, now it's a phone. Whatever.
Do you and Amanda work on all of your songs together? Is she the primary feature?
No. More and more, though. The first album was like 4 songs that we did together. Second album, a little more, and now we're working on the third album that's coming out next year. And there, she even wrote a few songs all by herself, and all the lyrics and whatnot with it. The Atomic Picnic Project is a project as it is. We give musicians a chance to chime in and express their own things. I don't need to write every single song that's on an album, right? So we have very exciting new musicians on board, and last album, for example, we had 13 different musicians playing.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome!
Yep.
I love that.
Cat, but, that's okay.
So you give them an opportunity to really express their creativity and their point of view. Like you'll actually take one of their songs and put it there. Produce it? That's amazing. Yes. What a great thing to do. What made you decide to do it that way?
It was my dream all along. I'm a musician pretty much most of my life, and at some point in time, you get sick and tired of being in a room with a handful of people and start arguing about E major 7 plus 9, whatever. All the smoke and the animosities and blah blah blah, and not all the time is the band as it is the right combo to express a song properly. So I always wanted to have a band or a pool of people that are the best fit for the very song, and that actually happened. And so I'm extremely excited and extremely happy that we pulled it off.
No kidding, and I love that perspective, working with a pool of artistic collaborators. I think that's really where music is doing best today, because I watch on YouTube all of these artists that are, they're solo artists or they're producers, but their channels are built on collaborations. And they not only do the covers, but they do originals too. And people just love it because they never, they're going to get introductions to all different kinds of people through that. And even though it's the same channel and the same project, you come to build a brand as a collaborator and as a person that's putting out music with and you never know what you're going to get next. It's going to be a surprise. And I think that there's something really important in that type of brand today, and it goes in alignment with the fact that you've got to keep people's attention for more than 8 seconds.
Yes. And, we did it intentionally, that we are not focusing on one particular line of music. I don't want to be put into a drawer that says rock or pop or pop rock or folk or God knows what. So if you listen to our records, they have a pretty big span of musical genres, from love songs, the usual suspects, and then rock and rock pop and some instrumentals and whatnot. So and that way, I believe, and as you said it, you can keep the attention span of a lot more people active. And you may not like song number 1, but you may like song number 2. Other people like song number 3 and number 1 too, and so on and so forth. So I just reach a bigger audience for this. That's all there is.
I'm curious if once people know what it is that you do, if you can get that branding in front of them and that explanation of what they can expect from you, I'm curious if they would listen to more music than the average songwriter, because typically if you don't like the first song, you'll kind of cut out and just, it won't be a second thought. But if they knew going in what you do and exactly what the story was with the music, I'll bet you they would listen. You would get a lot more listening time and a lot more attention spent, you know?
Mm-hmm. So
I think that's
do you want an answer, or should I try to explain? Well, as said, I mean, what we want to do with our music is we want to tell stories. And the stories might be personal ones, or might be stories that deal with a dramatic event in history. Like, my first song that I ever wrote for this project was about the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And if you listen to the song, it has some sort of a pleasant melody, but you listen to the words, and all of a sudden, bad things happen to those beautiful places on the planet. So we want to tell a story. Atomic Picnic project, it's a project. It's about all kinds of music and stories and, as I said, personal traumatic events in history, whatever.
Do you typically reflect all dramatic events? Are there good and bad events reflected in it, or does it tend to be on the...
I mean, if you write a duet that we did for the first album, Amanda and myself singing, it's a love story. I mean, it doesn't have to be something bad. It's just something that moves you as a person or as an artist, and you want to bring it across to the audience. That's all there is.
It's wonderful. I think it's just so interesting, and what a great take on it. A wonderful way to work with different people. I too love to work with different people. I think it's so much fun, and it keeps things fresh, keeps innovation going, and really that's the name of the game, right, is being very innovative with your music.
Yeah.
Do you find that the industry is tough, or is it better with the use of social media?
It was always tough, and it will be tough. And it became even more tough now with all the social media. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse. You have now means of exposing your creativity, your music to a lot more people than we could ever do 40 years ago. 40 years ago, you actually had to buy a record, or you just listen to the radio and keep it in your mind. Now you're flooded all day long with new music, new artists. I think I heard the number of like 1 million songs released per year or something like this.
Oh, it's
to stand out of this, you got to have something special.
Yeah, you do. You have to have that branding. You know, it can't just be about marketing. They say that. Well, I always say to my clients in Music Marketing Insider that it's not about just the brand, and it definitely isn't about just the marketing. You have to find ways to express them both at the same time in an authentic way, because if you're just marketing, people are blind to it. They just won't see it. But if you're branding, and in there's a call to action, which technically is marketing, then you've really got a good head start, because if you can, one, enforce your brand and as a result get somebody to follow through on a call to action, then you've really started to develop something, a skill and a strategy for your music that really makes a difference. I like the fact, and this is going with what you just said, that you can get so much more exposure for your music, and that you don't have to go with a company or a label or somebody that you have to share everything with, or that takes the majority, the lion's share of what they're doing for you, for what they're doing for you. I think it's great if you want to do the DIY, and I encourage artists to do it every day, because if you can learn the technology, then I've seen them build massive fan bases and really call their own shots.
I mean, as I said before, the musicians that we work with and do work with are dispersed all over the planet. Amanda lives in California. One of the guitar players is in England. The harmonica player lives in England. The bass player lives in Spain. Another guitar player lives in Spain, and a bunch of them live here in Germany. Without the technology that's currently out there wouldn't be a way to connect those people together. I mean, some of us, we haven't even seen each other yet.
Isn't that wonderful? What do you usually produce on? It is. I think it's so cool. I really do. I think it's one of those things that through like Apple technology, which we use here with Pro Tools, it is just so powerful. You can produce with anyone across the world. And I find that most of the artists that I'm listening to, they are doing that. They are collaborating with people, for instance, in Germany, lots of DJs, lots of everything. And I'm all for it. Makes it more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of branding, I mean, we don't want to fall into a particular category. That's what I mentioned before. So we try to give it a name. So we currently call ourselves, the music we do is Vintage Crossings. I call it Vintage Crossing. I'm an old guy from the hippie times, and I'm working with people, new musicians, new instruments. So it has aspects of the 70s and 80s, but it also has aspects of the modern days. We use synthesizers, whatever, loops, blah, 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 right? Which was not available to me. So it's difficult to create a new genre if you want, but, thought I'd give it a name. So it's Vintage Crossing.
I like that. That's innovative. I like that. Now, which is your social media page that you prefer? What's in your experience is the one you like? Because I notice you have all of them, which is great, because it's great to have a presence. But do you utilize all of them every day?
The musicians, you mean?
Yeah, because you guys have.
Social media, you mean?
On the social media, you have Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, Reverb Nation, and SoundCloud. So you've got them all. Yes. What do you feel has been the most benefit to you? What is your preference?
There's pros and cons to every single one. I mean, I've been fairly happy with the Facebook presence. It certainly has the biggest distribution, and you can actually write stories in there. Twitter with the 140 characters, it makes it a little more difficult to get your point across.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I mean, the Reverb Nation is a collection of musicians from all over the planet, so it's kind of incestuous in some way or fashion already. There's others out there, SoundCloud. I'm using them all. Essentially, you don't have a choice if you want to make yourselves heard. You have to go through all the channels. It's almost a full-time job in the meantime to work with all those social media on a daily basis. I mean, at least a couple of hours I spend in front of the computer every single day.
Isn't it the truth? I know it is. It's my main route of communication. I mean, I use Twitter and my Facebook DMs and my Instagram DMs more than I use email. And you know what? It's amazing how connected. Like the minute you talk to somebody, they are right back to you. Where email sometimes is so slow, it takes like a week to get a response.
Yeah, I hear you. Unless you have somebody who's really responsive on the other end.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's instant in some way or fashion. But it's also public. You have to be a little careful what you put in there.
You do. Yeah, you do for sure.
It's great tools. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like this, but I still miss the record shops. You know, you go downtown, whatever, to Tower Records downtown San Francisco, and you browse through a lot of CDs or vinyls or whatnot, and I miss those shops. I really do.
I know, right? You know, it's funny. I was at a friend's house not too long ago, and he got out his collection of vinyl records, and I almost felt like afraid to touch them because it's been so long since I've seen a vinyl record. I used to have a huge collection, and I was, dumb. I got rid of them and just went on with technology. And it felt so good to see them again, to see the big album covers and just, I don't know, it kind of felt like a national treasure almost. It was like something you never see.
It's coming back. Vinyl has a big revival now, right? I mean,
it is. Yes, it is. Very much.
I played in another band a while ago, and our first two albums just got re-released on vinyl. So people love the analog character of the music. It's not so digital, not so sterile. It does a few scratches in there, a little bit of analog.
It sure does. It's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for being on AVA Live Radio today. It's really nice to get to know you and hear about your project.
Oh, thank you very much. My pleasure. Sorry for the technical difficulties early on, but
it's no worries. You got here, and that's what's the most important. And I'm so glad that you did, because I would have really been disappointed if I couldn't have gotten to talk to you and listen to your story and see what Atomic Picnic Project was all about. So thank you, Heinrich.
Yeah, anytime. Jacqueline, I really appreciate the invitation and the possibility of expressing a little bit my points of view and what Atomic Picnic's project is all about. Thank you very much.
It's wonderful. You're welcome. Wonderful, wonderful story. Atomic Picnic Project, collaborations with different artists, whether it be a romantic collaboration or, telling history stories. That's amazing. I mean, now that you know the story, it makes sense, right? Don't you just get curious? Don't you just want to rip through all of his music now and just go down the list and see what each one has? I think it would be really cool. I haven't looked over at his website to see if maybe he has it kind of like in order, like a timeline, where you could read exactly what's going on with each song and see the lyrics and see a picture of the artist. I think that would be really, really cool to do as part of their brand. And I'm going to have to bring that up to him. Next up, guys, we're going to talk to Paul Kirkpatrick on AVA Live Radio's Behind the Music